So, if we start with the extracurriculars, so the reality is that if you ask in a class, if you go in a random class and you ask who is the smartest student, not intelligent, but the smartest, all of them will point out to the topper of the class, right? Generally, that's what happens.
Yeah.
They always point out to the toppers. And it is true because of our education system, it's more biased towards grades. But in reality, what I have experienced is as soon as you graduate, your soft skills comes into the foreground. Then it's more important for you to have those soft skills, have those communication skills to move forward. And that is why I think that extracurriculars are important. And they are as important as your grades or marks, because it can give you another dimension to discover. Like it is said in finance to have a diverse portfolio. It's kind of like that, so that you can always have a plan B and not to have all your eggs in a single basket, right?
Yeah, I have, like, if you ask me, I would take a balanced approach here. So I would say extracurriculars and grades, I would say both are equally important. Sadly, if you talk about grades, we both come from the same college back in India, and I could say that grades in the university has been a pathway for jobs, and that's how I would think about that. So you do need grades, good grades in your college, I believe. But it's not like you need to be the topper of the college, right? You can have a good acad, and then you can have extracurricular going across parallelly with, which can improve your bio around there. So for example, you can take part in a lot of technical, if any person who is very academic, for example, you could be like technical
Right.
lead of that of the technical fests, and that way you are parallelly developing your bio in that area, and along with that you are also focusing on your studies, which can give you better results. And so for example, if companies come to your campus for jobs, you should be eligible to in that area, right? For example, if you got a job, if you got a good job after your bachelor's, it's because you were eligible with certain percentage that made you available there, right? So I do
Right.
believe that should be a balance in
So
between
you
both
have
of
to
them.
find a balance. That is why the extracurriculars are important, because it can give you the sense of commitment, because you're committing yourself into one particular thing. So other than your academics, you pick one thing and you are giving your time and jumping from academics to activities. But here I would like to say that video games doesn't count, even though I'm a
Yeah.
video gamer even though as a fellow video gamer, I have to say that if you can't go to you can't go to an interview of a company and show your CV that, see, I used to play Call of Duty for 4 hours every day, look at my commitment.
Yeah.
So you can't it won't help, right?
Yeah.
So you need to choose right kind of extracurriculars which can help your profile,
Yeah.
and at the same time you get enough time to actually focus on your academics as well.
I would say that, yeah, you're correct. I would say there, as I said, there should be a balance. And you talking about choosing the extra right curricular. I do believe that the age between 17 to 21 is very, very important in developing all these skills. Like there are many skills today. For example, if you talk about even public speaking and skills like that, I do if you ask me in personal aspects, I do feel that I have developed those skills after 21, which became a bit difficult for me in certain areas. But if I look back, I could have easily developed those skills in between 17 to 21, which I wasn't. But there are many skills because of those extracurricular, because of me getting involved in various association, working for different association, I developed so many skills, like managing my studies parallelly. I was working like till late in the evenings for different associations, and then that gives you a sense of, for example, you go to college, you do believe that half of us don't even have 70% of attendance. Maybe I'm pretty sure you don't have it, but I used to have it. But But many people don't even have 70%. What do you do in those? What are you really doing? You're sitting at home or you're roaming around in your college, which is equally important, because we do believe that at the end, now we are friends for 8 years is because of our college life, because we enjoyed together. But so you have to understand how much time to invest in each area. So for example, if I want to study, I may not be roaming around with you, because I know study is equally important, because I wanted to get into a good college in America, and I knew grades were kind of somehow important in that aspects. So that's, I do believe you have to divide your life into few segments, and you need to decide how much time to invest in each segment, because if you don't do that, you could be like you could dwell a lot in one area, and then you may think after a time that, oh, I dwell a lot in this area, I could have focused in this part. And I do believe extracurricular helps you in
Yes.
that aspect a lot, because
And you were right that during this window of your age and your whole professional life, that 17 to 21 is the time when you can actually find enough time to actually delve into different things. And on these times, it could result in finding your passion.
yeah.
And because like you, I during my extracurricular activities, I found out that I love business and management. Other than that, if I'm doing computer engineering, it's very difficult to actually delve into those if I'm not a part of any extracurricular activities.
Correct.
So this is really good to have some kind of a pathway where you can actually find out what are your passions, and is it actually worth spending your whole time in academics if you don't like academics
I would
that well.
I would have a little disagreement on that part. I would say, if you talk about me being an engineer and now working in my area, civil engineering, like I'm a passionate civil engineer, but I felt through my lectures little bit, and I do believe proper mentors are something which you really need during that time. And I was lucky enough to have few good mentors around in that time in our college. So I do believe these lectures
But
have
the thing is,
some
Sanjay,
time. Yeah.
see, if in your case you actually love civil engineering, but I have seen even my colleagues at that time that they enrolled themselves into computer engineering, and then later in second year or third year they realized that this is not their stream. This is not what they want to do for the rest of their life. So at this time, if you have a plan B, if you are involved in those extracurriculars and you find out that, oh, actually I love event management, for example, because you were a part of an organizing an event,
Yeah.
so you can go to that side rather than finding out it late. It's much better to have a plan B from the first year or second year itself. Yes, you have to work on academics because academics is should be your first priority. But once your academics are well managed and you are happy with the academics, you should have some kind of a way where you can spend your time learning new skills. And that is why these extracurriculars can help.
I believe I could give I did it. I don't know whether it's a good suggestion for all of us, but I did this when I was almost 17, when I just entered engineering, and I did this. I wrote in a page of paper so they were like goals. They were like a long term, short term. I had a diary where I wrote it, and and there were like different set of questions, and that's why I said I was fortunate to have good mentors. So he gave me a questionnaire saying, "Okay, tell me what goals you have in your life. I want you to write this and give it to me, and then we'll talk about it." So I wrote everything. So I wrote that I want to become a civil engineer. More specifically, I want to become a structural engineer in future. And where now if you see, I'm a structural engineer. And so I wrote all my goals. I wrote my short-term goals. In short-term goals, yes, I did say that I want to be good in a CATS, want to score in good, want to get in a good college, do my masters. So in that sense, it clears you out your mind a lot if you start writing everything. Even now, now we are 25. Even now, if I feel something, you do it, I do it. Even now, if I feel something, I just write it down. Maybe it could be just stick notes, but I just write down somewhere. I'm like, okay, what do you think? What all things I have to finish today, and what I have a diary which I still maintain. I'm like, I have my goals going across. Okay, I have to give and like I have to attend this license in my civil engineering. I have to attend that. I have to study this part, because in that way you are clearing your own path. You are clearing your head, because if you really don't know what your goals are, then that's the first step to first identify what your passion or goals are.
But sometimes the extracurriculars, so there are some associations or clubs which can actually help you enhance your knowledge in your own stream. So, like for example, if there is like you were involved in tech events or technical clubs, so they helped you, right, learn
Yeah,
more about civil
yeah,
engineering, go deep into civil engineering. So yeah, so those extracurriculars doesn't have to be a totally, yeah, so those extracurriculars doesn't have to be totally opposite of what you're doing, but it can give you another way to explore those fields.
yeah. That's correct.
And also, one really good thing is that extracurriculars help a lot in your personality development. And for us, we know that now, after working for uh, 1 year or more than 1 year, that the personality development is actually very important in a corporate life, because it is an adaptive skill, so you have to keep learning it. And the main goal of each single person is to want to be unique, to have something which is distinctive from others.
Exactly.
And having a unique characteristics actually really help.
Yes.
It increases your confidence. Yeah.
But Utkarsh, that even that urge to have something unique is itself is a big thing, because that way you are, I believe, at the first step you are correct. You are absolutely correct when you say that urge to become something unique. For example, if you ask me, I would say, okay, I'm a very ordinary student, but I know what my strengths are and I know what my weaknesses are. Firstly, and that's where I start working on them. So, for example, if I know I have certain strengths, my first step would be to master those strengths as much as possible, and then I have certain amount of mastery over my strengths, where I can confidently say to them, okay, if you give me this, okay, I'll be able to do this because it lies under my strength. And then eventually you start working on your weaknesses. I know they both go hand in hand, but first to identify what are your strengths and weaknesses, even in your acads. I'm not even talking about extracurricular. I'm talking about just in your acads or just in your career. People first need to identify what their strengths and weaknesses are.
But this personality development, this increases your confidence as well. Like if you start out in your first year or second year, you might not have as much confidence to speak to a number of people, to uh, convey your ideas. So it gets rid of those stage fright. So that's why it is very tightly linked, both extracurriculars and personality development, because through one you can learn and hone your skills on the other,
Yeah.
and it can helps you adapt in different scenarios. It's all about your whole journey of student. It's all about how to manage your failures and how to find out your passion.
Yeah, but in this case, we also have to understand that many people, for example, we have cultural fests in colleges, or you have some groups in different universities around where you have a cultural group or you have a music group, and you also have to understand many people when they enter into, it could be commerce, it could be arts, it could be engineering. They need there are many students who at till that time they think, okay, their passion is studies, and then they delve into these different areas, and then they realize, okay, they like this more than doing that. So I believe in sometimes it also helps you in doing that as well, because when you, for example, you like acting more than could be a person like he likes acting more than till the age of 19 is thinking, okay, my goal is to become a is to get a corporate job. I know how my life structure is, but at 19 he enters an art club and he realizes, okay, oh, that's this I love this doing every day more than what I love doing arts. Maybe I could, and obviously he will do his research and he will understand, okay, I could delve into career into this. And then, so I believe extracurricular, even in if you go far away from acads, is also good in that aspect, I could say.
Sometimes yes, but I feel that your extracurricular should reflect who you are as a person or what you want to do, what your interests are. And sometimes even choosing an extracurricular which you have no idea about. So, like for example, if you are in computer engineering or you are in civil engineering, and at some point of time in first year or second year, you get an opportunity to get involved in an event organization. Then, if you have time, I would say you should, because you don't know what you will learn, and that can actually help in the future. So, I would say that after academics, you should look for extracurriculars, but make sure that what you are learning from and what you are participating in extracurriculars uh, is actually what you really are interested in, or something you really want to discover.
Yeah, my mom once said me, it's a Hindi phrase. She said me, मेहनत और जो भी तुम काम करते हो कभी खराब नहीं जाता, कभी ना कभी वो कहीं ना कहीं काम आ जाता है, which in English means that whatever work or hard work you do, it never goes in waste. Just there will be time, maybe 10 years down the line or 20 years down the line, you will need it, and you will then realize, okay, oh, I have dealt with that and that at that time 10 years before. Now it's helping me out right now. So yes, you're correct. A person should try to delve in as much aspects as possible, because that will eventually will help him somewhere. And
Yes.
in my personal experiences, yeah, there are times when, for example, I have dwelled with few things, and now, and like I'm not even saying 10 years, maybe 1 year down the line, I've used it. I'm like, okay, I just learned it. I never knew I'm going to use that. It could be any software, it could be any skills.
Yeah. And also, so for personality development, you need to make sure that whatever you are doing, and you are learning something from it. Sometimes even if you're trying something new, or even if you're trying something which you already decided that you are good at it, you need to check what are the things that you are not good at, what are your weaknesses, and how you can prepare it, improve it for your next steps, right?
Yeah,